All right, my friends, welcome to episode 188 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony the Dev at SummerSpeak. And this episode, we are giving away our code for Table of Tales, which is a PSVR game that just came out from Tin Man Games. They graciously gave us a copy, and if you haven't heard our podcast interview with Neil Renison, the creative director of the game, please check out episode 187 right at the beginning. So we will give that away. We're also going to talk about that PS5, or it's not called PS5 yet, but the next generation PlayStation and a few games we're playing. And then we're going to talk about Game of Thrones.
Yes, we are.
Up 2 episodes. We're going to spoil them both tonight.
Yes.
Wow. So before we get into everything, how are you doing?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Not even Game of Thrones. I've been up since 4:30. It's been great.
You have a 21-month-old daughter as well?
No, they're much older, but they are very excited about the prospect of candy and a chocolate bunny.
Oh my god!
And they got super excited when daughter woke up at 4:30 and was like, "I'm awake. No. Hey, is anyone else awake? No, we're not awake. Let's go back to bed. I can't really fall back to sleep. Well, that's fine. Just lay there. It's cool. But I couldn't go back to sleep. So, and neither could she.
Yeah, of course.
Or my wife. So I'm tired now. I'm very tired. But it happens. Just a lot of excitement for a chocolate bunny.
Yes.
Like that's all my kids get really for Easter. We don't really celebrate Easter. We don't care. We go over for have a brunch at my in-laws, but it's not really Easter. It's just it's an excuse to have brunch with family. And we get them a 6-inch chocolate bunny, hollow chocolate bunny. Here you go. But man, it was super exciting for whatever reason this year. So, okay, it's cool. Just sleep, please.
Yeah, my daughter was at 5:05. She woke up this morning. But obviously, she didn't know what Easter was. But we did Easter yesterday with the grandparents, and she just loved it. She ran into the living room, saw an egg. She starts screaming, "Egg, egg, egg!" Picks up this plastic egg and just immediately splits it in half. It's like, who taught you how to do that? She just knew what to do. And then we did more egg hunts today, and she just loves finding eggs. Doesn't care what's inside.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So why don't we give away this code for Table of Tales, PSVR game, immediately, and I will talk to you later about my experience with the game, which has been fantastic so far. So we're going to do a random number generator, sort of. There are 4 entrants into our contest, and basically we ask people to subscribe to our podcast, Prof and Dev Play Games, and then tag both Anthony and I on Twitter with a picture of their podcast feed, and we had 4 entrants. We had Squish the Ninja, we had LJ, we had Brazabraz, and then we had That Gearhead with a Twitter handle that I can't pronounce, but has a bunch of numbers and letters. So I've assigned a number to them, and I've also assigned a number to the first 4 books in the Song of Ice and Fire series. So we've got Game of Thrones, we've got Clash of Kings, we have Storm of Swords, and we have Feast for Crows. So I've assigned a random number to each of those, which I will then subtract 1 from, or add 1. Anyway, I have it figured out here. So whatever book you choose will then select the person who's going to win this code in the spirit of our spoiler cast later tonight. So the first 4 books, which do you choose?
First one.
You choose Game of Thrones?
Yep.
All right. That means that Gearhead is the winner of the podcast giveaway of Table of Tales for PSVR. So that Gearhead with a Twitter handle of numbers and letters. We will be contacting you tonight. I will send you out that code. And then everyone will discover the winner on Monday when you listen to this podcast. Thank you so much for participating, and thanks again to Tin Man Games for giving us that code for Table of Tales for PSVR. I will talk about that game a little bit later. And we are going to start off the podcast by talking about the Wired interview that Mark Cerny gave.
I know.
Basically giving out the details about some details about the next generation PlayStation. Before we get into any of the details, I just want to pick your brain a bit about their reveal with Wired in a print interview.
It's timed, I'm sure. It's very specifically against Microsoft. Because didn't Microsoft just release their $250 Xbox One S without a drive?
It was, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the exact same day. That both
this is totally planned.
Do you think it was PlayStation planning it against Xbox, or Xbox knowing PlayStation was going to announce and then doing their thing?
No, I assume Sony.
Okay.
I mean, if I look at what made bigger waves...
Oh, God, yeah.
The PS5 stuff made much bigger waves. So...
Right. I
don't think Microsoft, anyone on that market team would be like, we want to announce on the same day they start talking about anything with the PS5.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because we're talking about current generation, and they're talking about the new next generation.
Right.
So weird to call things next gen again.
I know, we're back
It
to
always
that,
does it, but it's always been weird to me. But yeah, I mean, it was clearly just like, hey, we're gonna start this train now. Which also makes it sound, we have this article now. I would expect sometime next, probably 3 to 5 months, we'll get another pretty big info dump on it.
Right.
Not price,
after
though.
E3, you think?
Yeah, after E3. It won't be around E3. They'll wait.
What are the odds that it's called the PS5?
Very high.
Like 99.9?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, at this point, I don't feel like Sony is gonna try to change that around. It's a very, PlayStation as a brand, very clean and clear now. Right. And it's much easier just to tack a number onto it. No, what's better than the 4? The 5? What comes? I mean, it's simple.
Right.
You know if, what's the highest PlayStation? That's the one you get if you're getting something new. So I think it will be called PS5, PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he announced, weirdly announced. I mean, just going into what the general plan is, not like super specifics, but kind of setting up like, okay, these are the areas we are focused on.
And I don't want to say this in a way that sounds pejorative, because it's not. I thought it was interesting, but I feel like it's kind of getting the boring stuff, quote unquote, out of the way.
Kind of.
Like, I don't know how well that would show on like a conference stage, you know?
Yeah. No, this isn't the stuff that you probably want to get in front of on just a general E3 stage, or that stuff talking about. This stuff would be stuff that you would say at GDC. Yeah. A lot of times. Right. Because this is stuff that was important to devs, and it sounds like Cerny, he was the key architect, system architect for PS4, and now being kept around for PS5. The way he went about architecting the PS4 and at least figuring out what to put in a PS4 is he traveled around to developers and asked them, in a next-gen console, what do you actually want? What's more important to you? If we can only spend money on this and this or this, which one is more important to you? And that's how you got a PS4 that had the PS4 having 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM shared between GPU and CPU.
Right, because that made it easier for them to develop games for that system.
It's just super fast.
Yeah.
The bandwidth on that thing, but the trade-off was, he's like, we can do that, but you'll have to have a slower CPU.
Yeah.
For money-wise, and all devs were like, yes, we want that. We want the increased bandwidth. We don't care about the CPU, a hit on CPU clock speed.
Well, it sure didn't hurt them with games this generation. Do you think that same... I think that conversation did happen again, but do you think that the load times was something that came up from that?
I almost guarantee you that is something that people were like, we really need to improve load times.
We need to get an SSD
or it was already on his plate, and he's like, if we do stuff, do you want us to push GPU and everything farther, or would you rather have money put into SSDs or faster loading? And I bet every dev is like, faster loading. This isn't right. Let's get stuff up in front of the player's eyes faster.
So before we kind of dig into more of those details, because I feel like I want to pick your brain about a few of these things, why don't we just kind of list the things that Cerny mentioned? And why don't you say it, because you sound like you know what you're talking about.
All right. So, I mean, the features or so we'll support 8K graphics. Which is not really a thing, right? No, and I just think that means that the HDMI port will support 8K. It can output 8K.
Yes, the 2.1 or whatever it is.
Yeah. 3D audio. We can get into that.
Yes, please.
Super fast SSDs. A little bit of talk on that. And backwards compatibility with existing PS4 games. Which isn't shocking to me.
No, if it's the same architecture or similar.
Roughly the same architecture. Because we can get into that. Like, let's dig into that. I mean, it's similar architecture because it's still an AMD-based Ryzen architecture. They're just going to be using the new Ryzen 3000, I believe. Ryzen 3 stuff. It's not out yet for PCs. It comes out sometime this summer. And then the same with the Radeon Navi. graphics GPUs. Those are probably going to hit PCs sometime in July and August, is the rumors. And of course, all this will be custom made for a PS5. So it's not going to be exactly what you can buy in store. Yeah. It will be customized to probably be more performant in a lot of ways, because it doesn't have to just work in someone's generic PC. Right. Basically, they can cut out a bunch of stuff. They can focus it a lot more, which generally is why GPUs in consoles that are based on same architectures of PCs run better than the PC versions.
Well, the way that you explain that makes it sound a lot better than what I was thinking, which is custom made means making it lower powered or something. But no,
I'm sure that will be one thing, like not lower powered as in performance. It will probably be lower powered in like power draw in a lot of ways. Like they'll focus on trying to get the best performance they can out of hardware for a certain price, what they can get in this thing.
Right, and they're not trying to hit like it's just a ton of different variables. They know exactly what they need to hit for this system. So that makes it easier. That's nice.
So yeah, that stuff's happening, and honestly, yeah, that stuff will be out for PCs. The architecture will be out this summer, so we can see what that brings. But this also is always been rumored to what the next gen Xbox would be running too, as well. I should say. So they would be kind of competing. Yeah, similar. Again, I mean, the Xbox One and the PS4 are very similar architecturally. Like I said, the PS4 just has the GDDR5 memory as its base, which is why baseline Xbox One and baseline PS4, why the PS4 was generally came out better in most performance tests. Right. And that was just... The CPU didn't matter as much. It really was, hey, we can push giant textures around really fast. Between RAM and the video card. So in this console war between Sony and Microsoft for the next generation, basically AMD wins because they're... AMD has been winning forever when it comes to embedded stuff. Like, no one buys it for PCs, really. It's a very small market for people buying in PCs, but AMD stuff powers insane amount of consoles and just embedded systems everywhere. Like, that's their market. That makes sense. NVIDIA stuff is just so expensive. So talk to me a little bit about the SSD, because what I heard was that it's a custom SSD, which maybe is the same thing that you were saying, just kind of tailored for the PlayStation. Tailored for the PlayStation, and you even know, probably looking at SSDs, not all SSDs are built the same. No, they're not. Although they could be the same size, but that could be dramatically different read-write speeds. The SSD in my computer, which Brad hooked me up with, is amazing. It's so fucking fast. It is great. And there's cheap SSDs that aren't as fast. Yeah. The thing here is this sounds like really fast solid-state memory with a custom controller to get things even faster. Like the the read is probably insanely fast. Based on what they were showing off. I think I could see them sacrificing like writing, because how much are you writing to the SSD constantly, on a console? What you really want for loading is just super fast reads. And did they mention that the, external hard drives would also support this? No clue. No? Oh, okay. No clue. They haven't gotten to any of that. Okay. I'd be curious. I mean, I have a feeling that this is definitely going to be a thing that you'll want to install games that you really care about loading fast onto this internal. Same with my computer. Because you want to take advantage of that speed. Yeah. The way they showcased this in the interview was basically Spider-Man for PS4 and then Spider-Man for PS5, whatever they're going to call it. Yeah, I mean, it's still just the same Spider-Man game. But... No, exactly, but I'm just saying the 4 versus 5. So the load time between a fast travel was 15 seconds for the PS4 Pro, and then it was 0.8 seconds for the PS5, which is... insane. I was playing Odyssey last night, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and just, fast traveling the wait, 20 seconds or so. Yeah. Imagining that would be nothing would be awesome. But my question for you as a dev is, okay, so they can reduce the load time, but it's also more powerful. You can do more things in the game, load more textures, whatever, make it more full, the world. By doing that, do you also then increase the load time anyways? So would the load time still be the same? Maybe a little bit. No, not to 20 seconds. Okay. It's not exponential. Mm-hmm. Like, we're still probably talking... I would say people would try to shoot for sub 5 seconds. Oh my god.
That anything like that would be amazing.
I mean, if they're talking about this at 0.8, like, we're going to be talking about 5-10 seconds tops.
Yeah.
If done well. If people actually optimize for it.
Right.
And devs should, because holy crap, if we can get back to a world where things load super fast, it'd be great.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, there's definitely, that seems to be their big thing that they're pushing here, is being like, yeah, load times suck. We're gonna put some stuff in here to try to fix that. And then they start getting into kind of the, what would I say, the GPUs and the graphics part of it, and the audio is kind of tied into that.
Yeah, this 3D audio they're talking about, and this ray tracing they're talking about. Yeah, okay.
So, ray tracing. Let's run down.
Please break it down.
So, whenever you're playing a video game right now, and 3D graphics are rendered to the screen, there's a lot of fakery going on to generate lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Because computers don't generate lighting like the sun shining down on us and bouncing around, and like, that's not how it works. You do a lot of fake, you do a lot of baking of lighting and shadows into textures based on where light is when the scene is built. Ray tracing is stuff that you've seen it anytime you go watch a like Pixar film or CG film. Those are all rendered using ray tracing, but not real time. It might take 20 minutes to render a single frame. We're talking about real time. Real time ray tracing, which is millions simulating the sun's light, or light as in rays firing into the world and bouncing off surfaces. And so you're actually simulating light, which makes things
so metaphysical.
Which is looks incredible, but is, oh my god, fucking expensive. And you're never going to, like, we're just now getting this in any type of consumer fashion. The NVIDIA's 2000 line, RTX line, is all about ray tracing. First time. But if you want any kind of real world ray tracing, like let's say I want to play my game at 1080p at 60 frames per second, you're at least going to need a 2080 Ti, and the game better not be insane, and it has to support it. Which a lot of there's very few games that even support this right now.
That's a lot of caveats right there.
Yeah, and that graphics card costs over $1,000. So,
which is way more than the PS5 is going to cost. So
yes, maybe temper, like, I don't think ray tracing, what they're talking about here, is going to be anything like real-time ray tracing entire scene. Like, there'll be very much caveats to it. Maybe they'll be doing some special stuff where they'll mix the two in some ways. Like, maybe there's one pass of ray tracing to do slightly better shadows and bounce lighting going on, but not...
just so they can say they have it.
Yeah, in a way. But the thing that came out of that was like, oh, you can use ray tracing for audio. So you can ray trace how audio bounces around a world.
Because it's basically rays of sound? Is that the idea?
Yeah. And so you can get incredible 3D audio. And it's not expensive. Because all you have to do, you don't have to bounce thousands, millions of light rays around. You can just bounce one ray of sound and just bounce it around the scene, and then where where the audio inputs would be in the world, where your character is and where you hear things in the world. So you would could bounce the sound like a wave around the map, and it would sound correct in that space.
That sounds pretty rad.
It does. It is not a way I had thought of using ray tracing before, but it makes a ton of sense. And I think that's where you're going to see most of that power put, honestly.
So of all these things, does the SSD and the 3D audio kind of sound like the biggest leaps forward?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Graphics is just better graphics. They just move forward. They're going to be better. They're not going to do...
anyways, though.
Yeah, they're not going to do 8K.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. What would it take right now? Like, what does it take on a PC to get 60 FPS at 4K?
Right.
Takes some pretty powerful graphics card. Yeah, like, that's not something you can get mid-tier at all yet. So 8K, I just really think that it supports it with HDMI 2.1 or whatever version it is. And it's like, fine, when it comes around and they need to output 8K video, it can output 8K video.
Sounds like it's future-proofing more than anything that's happening now.
Yeah. Which is cool that they're doing. and then you get backwards compatibility.
Oh my god!
It still has a disk drive, which is the difference here. Is that I thought it was very possible that Sony would drop the disk drive going forward. Like, it was a possibility.
Don't you think that if they did that, then retailers would kind of revolt a bit in terms of selling their hardware, or would it not even matter?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. I know PlayStation's stopping selling digital codes at GameStop and maybe other places as well.
Yeah.
But they still need someone to sell their physical hardware.
Exactly. But I don't think that would... That's the thing. Like, where do most people buy physical hardware anymore? I wouldn't...
Look at Best Buy, Target, Amazon.
Yep. Walmart.
Well, yeah. Right. Walmart.
Those are probably the 4 biggest.
GameStop, I guess. Yeah.
I don't even think GameStop.
Yeah.
I mean, we can look at GameStop's stock and their performance over the past 5-6 years, and you can see that people aren't going there to buy games anymore.
I did walk in and pre-order a video game there this week, which felt very weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
But I wanted it the day that it came out, and if it's the same as Amazon, I figured I'd just give my money to some store instead.
So it was kind of just even also a shot across the bow against Microsoft, showing off their like, well, we're doing this cheaper digital only Xbox. And they're going, PS5, no, we still have discs. We're going to keep using discs. You're going to get to play your PS4 discs in this.
It's almost the same thing as when they did that. I forget. Microsoft was something like, this is this complicated system about how you share games.
Sharing.
And then they just walked on stage, and Adam Boyce, I think, was like, this is how we share games. You just pass the disc back and forth. Same thing, like they're doing all this big streaming stuff, and we're just saying, we have a box in your living room, you put discs in it, you play games, and that's what we want.
And you had the question to me before about, like, what about my digital library? And my thought is that the digital library, they will do what they can to make it backwards compatible as well, only because they don't want to poison that well. They still want people to feel like if they buy a game in PSN, that they can still use it and keep using it. And it will make people more okay with buying digital games. It's just all about a long-term rollout of getting people to buy more digital.
Well, I feel like it's going to be hard to say right now at the jump it's backwards compatible without saying any caveats, and then later saying, well, there are these caveats, these games, no. Even though I know Xbox, when they said...
I think they said there's some... reading the article more, there's a very good chance that there might be some games that don't work great.
Right.
Not a ton, but there's probably going to be a few that are going to freak out on backwards compatibility. And I'm sure they'll work with the devs or try to figure out what they can do. But
yeah, I just feel like I'm not sure if I'd sell my Pro to get a 5, but maybe. I saw some thread on Reddit that was a pretty good idea, which is fairly obvious. Just if you start saving $1 a day from now until it comes out, you'll probably be able to buy it with what you saved.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really like to sell my consoles, so maybe I'll keep it. But there were two more things that stood out to me that I wanted to talk about. And one of them kind of relates to what you were just talking about in terms of the backwards compatibility, which is that in this Verge article that you sent over, that Sony's also promising that when PS5 does roll around, it'll be a slower transition with multiple new games releasing on both systems. So if you do release it on both systems, it could be one disc, maybe, or maybe they'll differentiate.
I think they'll differentiate.
Okay, just the brand PS5 maybe.
Brand it.
But still, if you buy it on PS4, eventually you're not losing anything because you can bring it all over to supposedly the PS5. So I'm happy about that.
There's that, and you get PSVR.
Yes, that's the other thing that was like a huge boon. Basically, like they're saying that the current PSVR is going to work with PS5, which kind of means in some way maybe they're not looking at PSVR 2 right now, which is fine. But it does say like this is not dead hardware. We're moving it over to PS5. Which the power boost maybe will help in some way.
Oh yeah.
But it's nice to know that they're going to continue to support, the most popular VR headset in the world, but also just a really nice system.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when I got done with this article, I was very happy for what's planned for Sony.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a nice slow burn. Like here's some information to kind of just like wet your whistle and just like get hyped about, but it's nothing too. Oh, it's not flashy. It's just like solid stuff, like the load time thing, the backwards compatibility thing, the 3D audio thing. Those three things really make me happy. So
I mean, this is what you get out of Cerny. Whenever you have Cerny, like when it was doing the PS4 tour and rollout and stuff and talking about it, he was never the person they put on stage to do all the flashy stuff.
Yeah,
he was the system architect. He talked this nitty gritty stuff and the crunchy numbers of like what it can perform at, what it allows people to do, what it allows devs to do. But me as a dev, that super excites me. So it's also why I was like, oh, I like this a whole lot more than the crap API that I have on Xbox One right now. So.
Well, I feel like just for gamers in general, it's just like very solid upgrades that would make our experience better. It's not about chasing some future tech, maybe the 8K, maybe, but the rest of the stuff is just like, let's iterate on what is working well now and give you a couple of things that you weren't thinking about, like 3D audio.
Yeah, or the SSD, the load time thing where people have just come to accept long load times.
Correct.
And it's be like, no, that doesn't have to be that way, and we can fix that.
Well, it made me think, like old graphics, like think about PS1 graphics or N64 graphics that at the time was like, oh, this is great. And now we're like, whoa. I imagine now, like even current gen games, like looking back on those load times in a couple of years, just like, wow, how did we do that? How did we survive?
But yeah, I don't know. It will be crazy to see. I do think this drops in fall 2020. I think that's when the feelers out now. Now, this is about the time they start doing this. Like I said, sometime towards the end of summer-ish, they roll out a little bit more info. Probably not price, but just start talking more about like the gameplay experience of it.
Right.
And potentially, if they go back E3 2020, they actually do like the price reveal and date.
Yeah, that would make sense. That'd be a big drop.
And I think the price will be $400.
You think it's going to be $400?
Yep.
Wow, my guess is $5. I hope you're right.
I think it's $4. They made the Pro $4. I think they want to stick to that $400 price point.
If they stick to $4, they're going to just shred.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they want, so.
And they should. I mean, like I said, the CPU, GPU hardware that they're using comes out this year. They're going to be releasing next year using modified version, but I'm sure they're getting a good deal from AMD using it.
You don't think Sony hubris is going to make them go for the higher price like they did with the PS3? I mean, for $600.
They've learned their lesson. So, like, they might, but I don't think they'd go to 6, maybe 5. No. But
I think 5.
Even that makes me go, they saw how horrible the Xbox One did at 5.
Right.
Beyond having any other launch issues or anything like that, it was just $500, and there's a breaking point. And the hardware that they're talking about here doesn't make me feel like it needs to be more than $400.
That's really reassuring, because for me, $500 is a little bit out of range to jump on immediately.
Yeah.
But if it's $400, because I was thinking I'd stick with my Pro for another year. But if it's $400, I would probably jump in day one and probably swap out my Pro to bring that price down.
Yeah.
So
that's my goal. It's what I hope. But they've been consistent with that $400 price point. Doing the Pro and keeping the Pro at that. So part of me is like, does the Pro drop to $300 and this comes out, PS5 comes out at $500 or $400?
Right.
Maybe a $500 pack that has more stuff in it. That's always possible.
Or they did a PSVR bundle. I don't know if they do that, but
that would probably be a $600 bundle. But I can see it
because they dropped the PSVR to like $200 recently and a ton of sales. I think there's another.
But I don't think it's going to get super cheaper. Is the thing. I think it's going to stick around $200 with some games and the Move controllers and the the whole package for $200.
Oh yeah, with the Move controllers is good because mine I bought it without that for $200, so I just buy those separately.
I could see those being added in and just being calling cool. This is a $600 bundle that comes with everything you need for VR.
That would be rad.
So yeah, that's my goal. I'm super excited. I want Cerny to do more talks. I love listening to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he will in different venues. Probably not on stage though.
No, not on stage like this. He does some interviews though. You can find stuff on the PS4 and stuff where it was like long talks about the hardware.
So there's an audience for that.
There is an audience for that, and right now, honestly, the stage that they're at now, they want the devs on board. Like that's the very important part right now. It doesn't matter. The consumers need to be somewhat on board, but they need devs jumping on now and starting to work on their games now.
Well, it was smart of them to come out with this information because with the PS5, basically the dev kits have already gone out, but there's more going out now. There's going to be leaks eventually, so it was smart for them to get ahead of that message, I guess. But also to kind of tear down Xbox's stage a little bit, which I don't get the Xbox Sad edition. like, first of all, dumb naming again, but also you took away a feature, but it's basically the same price. Like, I got my Xbox One S with a couple of games and a disc drive for $200. So,
yeah, it needs to be cheaper than $250.
Should have been $150. Really should have.
Yeah. But the disc drive doesn't actually cost that much, like, from a manufacturing standpoint.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about it. I'm like, you can remove the disc drive, but you're only saving yourself $1 or $2 tops at actual manufacturing.
What a waste.
So I'm just like, what does it matter at that point?
Who's it for? I don't know who this is for.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I do agree with you. It should have been super cheap if they're going to do this.
Yeah. I thought their goal was to get a box into lots of people's houses before the next gen to kind of get branding going on. But who's going to buy this? Why? What?
Yeah.
You just buy. It just drives me nuts.
What's $250? Or you buy. How much do PS4?
The Slims?
Slims go for, bundles go for now.
They were $200, but during sales, probably $250, I think.
$200, $250, yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, the digital edition does come with 3 games plus Game Pass.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I do also want to point out that the last 2 episodes I have mentioned at the end, we'll talk to you next week about the next Nintendo Direct, and finally it came true. We did have a Nintendo Direct, sort of.
Kind of.
They just shadow dropped a freaking Smash Brothers.
Well,
Direct.
I mean, we've been talking. We're like, they got to do something because it's almost the end of April. We got 2 weeks left in this month, and they said Joker's going to be out. And they delivered. They totally delivered.
Got a 16-minute presentation basically talking about Joker, and then, wow, it was like Persona fan service. Just Persona fans were just losing their minds on Twitter.
Yeah.
Persona 4 music, Persona 3 music, the stage, Mementos, changes colors based upon what game's music is playing.
Yep.
Blue for 3, yellow for 4, red for 5. You got some of the Phantom Thieves?
Phantom Thieves, yeah.
Morgana and Ryuji and whatever. Doing some assist text basically, and so I guess they're part of the. Are they part of the Final Smash for Joker too?
Yes.
God, it's so
they do that. The stylized thing. I was amazed at how far they went in with this.
Even like
it's
the fucking
incredible.
victory screen, man.
I know.
You just same thing as the victory screen when you
in Persona 5. Yeah.
Fuck, it's so good, so good. It's unbelievable. It makes me so excited for who's next because that level of freaking love for Joker, which is not even on Nintendo system, I guess in a way in the 3DS Persona Q games or whatever, but
so good. Yeah, and they just dropped that. Good. So you got Joker, you got what was it? Map Maker.
Oh yeah, the Dick Builder, right?
Dick Builder, time to Dick, like 0.2 seconds.
Must have been. Yep. So stage.
I don't even know how they even go about curating that stuff. And
they said they're censoring stuff now, but I don't know what that means.
I'm like, have fun, guys. This is going to take so much work, which is great. I'm sure they'll do whatever they can, and they should. But wow, okay. Yep. Anytime you give anyone creative freedom, any large group of creative freedom, time to Dick is very low. God. Which is great. And then they have the video editor. Sharing like
robust as hell.
It is, and it's crazy. I was like, at first I was like, oh cool, you can share like highlights. That's cool. And oh no, you can actually like edit things together and like transition between scenes.
Slice it together.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this?
It's so good, but I don't think it just uploads to like their Smash World app, right? It doesn't upload to like YouTube or just Twitter or anything, right?
No, nothing like that right now. It's just something inside of Smash. You can just browse it inside of Smash.
Right. We're getting there, step by step.
Step by step. Just give it some time.
Have you played as Joker yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't got to play it at all this week.
Oh, shit. Okay. You've been busy.
I have been very busy.
Yeah.
Which we can get to what I'm playing, which is almost nothing.
Yeah.
I have been heads down in our pre-production code base, getting our game up and running again.
I hope that's good news on the funding side.
Maybe.
Okay.
We should know in a couple weeks.
Cool.
Like, things continue.
Yeah. That's good.
And I think we've been told that we should have info by the end of April, which I'm happy about. But yeah, it's just been a lot of time just like, okay, we've done with prototyping. Eventually I'd love to play the game with you. We're not going to make a build of all this stuff. We went crazy in the past 2 weeks, on going, all right, we have a ton of things we want to answer on combat in our game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. We're gonna bust through it, and we did just over 20 different unique playtests.
Oh wow! In 2 weeks.
Yeah, rapidly changing things and playtesting and iterating and playtesting, and our combat kicks so much ass now. Holy crap, it feels so good.
That'd be nice to see again.
Yeah, I just realized we're never going to actually make a separate build of it, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You have to have UE running, and we run it out of the editor.
Yeah,
but man, it feels really good. Yeah, you would be amazed at how much better it feels. I was so happy. Awesome. But it's just been so much work, just tons of work, even me at night, of just wanting to get stuff in. And we're now switching to our pre-production code base, which is, hey, we're not prototyping anymore. We're done with that. We should start building a code base and that is meant for production. So that takes a lot of work to basically break everything down and start rebuilding it back up in a nice way that isn't janky and hackish. Hobbled. This isn't about getting it to work as fast as possible. This is actually getting it to work in ways that are very extensible and expandable and what I'd say clean. And I get to go back into a lot of C++ coding, which I haven't done in a little bit because we've been in Unreal's visual coding, and we're pulling a lot of that stuff into C++ and compiling to improve speed and everything.
So as you're working, are you doing some research too to like refresh your memory?
Yeah.
On that code?
Oh, a lot of people hate C++. I think I just like because that's what I learned on. That's what college was, and everything was all C++. So yeah, there's a lot of new, nicer things, but it's something that's very near and dear to me, and I've shipped plenty of games that I've coded C++ for. So
awesome. You're the right person for this job then.
For now, yeah, it's been fun.
But it's taking you away from games this week.
It has taken me really away. Like, I think the only thing I still played Dragalia Lost more, which they're doing a Fire Emblem crossover.
Oh, God.
Next week.
Okay,
I think the 25th. Yeah, but I think you have to be leveled. You have to get through a bunch of the story.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
To get to this event, and it's introducing a co-op mode, a co-op defense mode. So like there's going to be like a fort on a base, and you and 3 other people take your heroes, and you're like defending gates and trying to defend this castle. I'll be curious about what that is, but that's all part of the Fire Emblem event. So we'll see. I'm pretty excited about that.
That sounds pretty rad.
Yeah, I think that's mostly unfortunately all I've really done. That, and it's really been playing Dragalia after I'm like, I just can't look at a computer screen anymore. I'm just going to lay here and browse my phone until I pass out.
I've had probably about an hour a night for most nights this week.
That's pretty good for you.
Amazing. Yeah, I don't know what happened this week. But it's just basically like 9 to 10 or 9:30 to 10:30 where I'm just like fried. I can't do any work. I can't read. Because if I do either of those things, I'll fall asleep in 5 minutes, and I need a little bit of me time. So I played Odyssey the most this week. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. I just got sucked back in a big way. I probably put 3-4 hours into that game this week.
Nice.
It started with... I'm still hunting cultists. Like, I'm realizing that the final cultists I have, like, involve certain things. Like, there was, on Mykonos and Delos, there was someone, the Cruel... Pegnor the Cruel or whatever, but to get him you have to like start like a separate quest line to like feed through into where he's at and meet Kira. I don't know if you remember doing that.
Yeah,
you can kind of like fall in love with her.
Yeah.
I was looking around for him because the clue was like he's in Delos, look around and help people. So I was on Delos like just doing a bunch of stuff trying to find anyone, and I couldn't find anything. I'm like, okay, I can run around in circles for another hour, or I can just go online and figure out where I'm supposed to start this. So I was like, oh yeah, you start the quest line actually on Mykonos, not Delos. I'm like, well, fuck, I would have been here for another 3 hours just looking for him on Delos then. So I killed him. I think I have like 4 or 5 cultists left. I'm really trying to get through the cultists so I can roll credits on this game. But one of them is like, go to a new place that I've never been, and then basically fight the conquest war for one side, Athens, I think.
Oh yeah. So
that's going to take me some time. But I've been doing that. I went and took on the Cyclops, the new Cyclops. And that was easy. I took him down the first time.
Okay.
Got some cool gear. Man, that game is just fast becoming like my comfort food. Like the game that I just want to drift away in and put it on and just have fun and not think. It's just, I don't know, just I keep coming back to it. And then that Atlantis trailer that dropped last week.
I watched that trailer. It was really good. I am super excited.
Oh my god, it's gonzo. And there's a pre-quest, which I think I found. It's like a blue icon to kind of like lead you into the DLC. So even if you don't have the DLC, you can play that, and then maybe it'll probably like pre-sell you on it or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But it looks like you're a fucking superhero. Like, it just looks rad. I cannot wait. So, and I don't think like the Hidden Blade and the Atlantis thing are separate, so I don't think you really need to do the first DLC to play the second one. So you could just jump in with the second one. I'm glad there's no AC this year because there's so much to this game. Plus, the Assassin's Creed 3 remastered that came out.
Yeah.
I put a little bit of time into Lego DC Super Villains. It was $20 on Switch, so I got it when Amazon had a deal of the day for I don't know if you saw this, but the what the fuck are they called? The mini disc that you put into the Switch. What the fuck's that thing called?
SD cards.
Memory. Thank you. The SD card, the mini.
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
There was a deal of the day, so I got a 256 for like $20.
Wow.
Yeah. So doubled my storage, and I picked this up DC Super Villains because it was $20 as well. I've been wanting to play that, and it plays well on the Switch. It's a really extensive character creator. You like the idea is that you're a super villain they're coming to recruit to help them with something. So I basically spent a long time doing the character creator in between just times that I could play really quickly, like a 20-minute break here, 10-minute break there, and just started the first mission, but I haven't really gotten too much further than that. And then last night I played Apex Legends with my brother, which went superb. It was unbelievable. We're playing on PS4, so I don't know if the audience is different on PS4, but my brother and I, he's never played. You know how shitty I am. We played.
Well, that's on PC. I've actually been wondering if there's something to. Does the auto aim assist on console help a bit?
It must, because we played 7 matches and we got in the top 4 times. So 4 out of 7 we were top 4. One time we were 20th. That was the first time we played, and then a couple other low ones. But we were getting kills. Like, I got like 4 or 5 kills throughout the thing, and so did my brother. We were actually useful team members. It felt very weird and super fun. So we did that, and then I played Table of Tales, which for PSVR. They offered me a code when I did the interview with Neil, and I didn't want it because I wanted to support them. Also, they're doing a sale for PS Plus, which made it like $15. So that was good. I'm going to take a drink real quick. My throat is going. So played it, and man, it is fantastic. It is what it sounds like. You're just looking at a table. It's like a really ornate wooden table, and the tabletop just changes. Like, you're on the ocean, and there's a boat, and then you come into the city, and it scrolls left to right. No, right. Yeah, left to right. So then the city pops up, and then whatever locale you're in pop up, and you have 4 characters on kind of like a tutorial boat mission basically. And by the end of it, one of your guys goes overboard, so you choose which one goes overboard, and you keep the other 3. So you have I kept like a alchemist, a rogue, and like a warrior. And the idea is that you're basically trying to someone like the mayor of the town or whatever died, and they're blaming you, and you got to like figure out who did it. And then you like go questing to the places where your characters have been for the last 8 years. There's a really cool system where you're doing skills based upon cards that you have. So you're picking up the cards with your move controller, reading it, and then like placing that card over someone's head. And then when you do that, you attack them with a spell or give someone health or whatever. So that's really fun. The problem is that I can't really read the cards. In VR, I'm not really doing a lot of reading, and these cards are pretty small. So I actually had to put on my glasses to be able to read the cards. That was one thing. Was like a drawback for me, but the story is fantastic. Just the way that it's telling is just like engaging, brief, getting you invested in the characters and the story. Like it's I think it's only like a 4-hour experience, but it's really awesome. And then there's skill checks. Like you have to think about D&D where you have to do a wisdom check or whatever. And the way they do it is you roll. There's like a star rating. Like you need 5. You fill up 5 stars to do this, and you might start based upon your character's stats. You might start with 1 star or 2 stars. Then you got to roll dice. And you either minus a star, don't get a star, or add a star. And then it adds up those dice, and basically you can succeed in the skill check or not. And then if you do or don't, it changes the course of the game kind of thing. Man, it was just a lot of fun. It was just, PSVR is just a little blurry. So because it's blurry, it's hard to read. And that was the only thing that was a drawback for me.
Yeah.
Man, my throat is just going crazy.
Oh.
But no, I enjoyed it. And then I think there was one other game that I played, and I'm forgetting what it was. So that's I had quite a bit of time to play games this week. In the 9:30 to 10:30 hour.
That's crazy. It's been a while.
It's been like a month or two.
Yeah.
Really, it feels like I've had no time. So that was kind of nice this week.
But what'd you have time for last Sunday and this Sunday?
Fucking Game of Thrones. I'm going to have you start talking because my throat is dead.
So, we're going into spoilers here. So anyone who doesn't want to hear about Season 8 of Game of Thrones, bye. Hopefully you enjoyed the show.
Right, episode 188, Prof and Dev Play Games. Thanks so much. Now we're going to move into the spoiler cast.
Yes, spoiler cast, Thronecast time. I will say, quickly, episode 2 is amazing.
Holy shit.
Totally crap, but also in a way, taking 1 and 2 together as one big long combined thing would be a way to look at it.
It would make me like episode 1 more, because I was mixed after I came out of the first one last week.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I think it's a big thing, and I complained about it too, to you, is it didn't have time to breathe. They were jumping around a ton. I didn't feel like they gave enough of mostly these 2 episodes are just reunions.
Right.
And episode 1 just didn't give enough time for each reunion. It was too quick to jump to the next one. Like, they're just trying to get so much in. Where episode 2 is just much better paced on
I
that.
thought episode 2 was falling in that same pitfall, but then they kept coming back to the groups. Like, it wasn't one and done. Like, the Tyrion and Davos, that whole group in front of the fire, they kept coming back to it again and again, and it just got better and better and better.
They did a fantastic job, but so let's think back. So episode 1 was just basically getting to Winterfell. Like, it was the start of all the pieces coming to Winterfell. Jon and Daenerys. Who else showed up there?
Like Jaime Lannister at the end.
Jaime at the end, which we saw the ramifications.
Theon's headed there. Yeah,
Theon's headed there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt you.
Trying to think of all the other. I mean, Arya's there. It's basically just everyone getting back to Winterfell, and you're starting to see the pieces come together. I mean, Tyrion showing up at Winterfell, the Spider being there.
Right.
Just all these characters meeting again or for the first time. Some of them meeting for the first time since season 1. Because who was that? Who was that big meeting that hadn't met since season 1? Was Tyrion and someone?
No, wasn't Arya and Jon?
Yeah, Arya and Jon hadn't had any screen time together since season 1.
Well, I thought their reunion was probably the best of the whole.
It was. It was very heartfelt.
How do you survive that? I didn't.
Yeah. Man, I still really wish on that one, because he asked her with her sword, have you killed anybody with any? With needle, and she's like, a few. And whenever she pulled out his sword, I wanted her to quip back at him. Ever used it? A few times. I just was waiting for a quip back, but it worked. It worked well. It was the best one. Really, it's like the first episode in most seasons of Game of Thrones. It was just setting kind of the stage, just so you know where the pieces fit. Where second episode really just dug in on. Well, before you dig into the
second one, the other thing from the first episode was that Jon told Sam told Jon, "Hey, you're a Targ."
Yeah.
So that was a big thing, which we all knew, but finally have it out in the open.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't let that just sit around. It's just like, nope, episode 1, he knows now. Cool. And now episode 2, Dany knows.
Oh god, that was so crazy. Like, it's convenient that your brother and your best friend told you this. Like, thank you. That is pretty convenient. But he's like, no, it's true. It's like, that would mean that you would have, it would mean I'm in line for the throne.
Yes, it's true. And so you're going to kill me?
Right. And they didn't have time because the horns blew. And
of course it did.
The White Walkers.
Which is what I'll say. The second episode, it's just a lot of reunions and talking, not really action at all. But
thank God.
God, does it build tension.
Oh my God.
Like, it's just ratcheting up. Minute by minute by minute. You're just like, oh my God, all these characters are going to die. Well, I love them all, and they're all going to die.
They had good pacing with building up tension and having a little bit of laughs and then a little bit of like feelings. Like Tormund talking about how he suckled from the giant's wife for 3 months. Oh my God, just what the fuck is happening right now? And then 2 times that I cried actually was one, and it just surprised me when Theon came, and then Sansa didn't say anything. She just ran up crying and hugged him. I was like, that was unexpected. But I should have expected it.
But not.
Yeah.
He saved her. He's absolutely saved her. And I'm like, it took me a while to remember. I'm like, oh, right. The only reason she's alive is because of him.
Correct. So that was that. And then the other one was when fucking Jamie knighted Brienne. Like,
Sir Brienne.
I lost it.
Yeah.
I fucking lost it. I love Brienne. She's one of my favorite characters. And just like to see the redemption arc of Jamie is just like so great.
It is so... God, he better not die.
Oh, he's fucking gonna die, man.
But I want him to kill Cersei.
Yeah.
Like,
me too.
To me, the optimal way he dies is at Cersei's hands while he's killing her.
Well, that's the prophecy. I feel like that's where it's going in the books. Azor Ahai, like it's going to be him, and he's going to bring Lightbringer into the world by putting his sword through Cersei's heart. But I don't. The show doesn't have that.
I know.
But I think that's where the books are going.
But yeah, I mean, if we follow his natural arc, he dies next episode during the battle, like that. And this could be even worse though. What if Brienne dies saving Jamie?
Oh,
because I could see that too.
They're gonna do something like they set up so many things this episode that just like remind you love these characters, and now we're gonna kill them.
Yeah, and you don't know you just know some of them are going to die. Yeah. There is no way they all make it out of this.
Nope. Not if there's any stakes to this whole thing.
Yeah.
If they all survive, then there's no stakes. So.
But now it's the question of who, and you don't want to see any of them die.
I think Bran's toast.
Probably.
Unless like the three-eyed raven can't die, basically, kind of thing. Like
it'd be interesting if it's a three-eyed raven. I do think. Well, I don't know. Like, do they actually stop the Night King here?
I mean, this is episode 3. There are only 6.
6. I think they do.
I think they do too.
But I think the cost is very high.
I think so too. Like, I think they stop them, and then maybe Cersei comes north and kills everyone else. I don't know.
Or they have to go south. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I think they stop.
I think they go south more. I don't think there's any more big battles in Winterfell. They'll want a slightly change of scenery for the final battles or anything.
Right.
I mean, it could just be Dany being like, or Jon, whichever one lives. If they both live, who knows? Going like, I'm taking the Iron Throne now.
Yeah,
like,
do we end with them fighting each other? I don't see Jon doing that.
No, actually, I don't think Jon... when I was looking at it, I don't necessarily see Jon saying, I want the claim of the throne.
Right.
Because I don't know if he actually does.
I don't think he does.
So he really might be like, you can have it. No one needs to know that I'm a Targaryen.
Right.
Because there's only 4 people in the world that know this right now.
Sam, Bran, and those 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, Jon riding a fucking dragon in front of Varys and Tyrion, I think they can probably figure out, wait a second. Only Targs can ride dragons.
They could, but we'll see how that works.
It would be convenient for them not to know that.
Yeah. I mean, but even if they do, would they necessarily try to put him on the throne over Dany?
I don't know.
I don't think they would.
The only thing I thought was too convenient in this episode, and I thought this is like, I know there's so much backstory and there's so much build up to episode 69. That it's not fair to say this, but it's really like one of my favorite, like top 5 of the whole series. Like, it was just put people in rooms and have them talk to each other. That's what we want.
And it was good writing.
Fuck, it was great. Scenes. Brian Cogman, man. Fucking
but then, wasn't that Arya scene really weird?
That was really...
Only from a viewer standpoint, I should say.
Yeah. I'm glad she's finally knocking boots. Like, if she's gonna die, like, let's get it on.
Yeah, with Gendry, but you're still very much like, I'm like, oh my god, you were 11 years old when you started filming this. This is weird.
Yeah, like, and I'm sure that was a body double.
Actually, Macy Williams gave an interview. I read shortly after an interview and talking about that scene. And no, that's her.
That's fucking...
But she got the choice on how much she showed or not. It was completely up to her. They said they would shoot it however she wanted it shot.
That's cool.
So, and that was... So nice. Everything you saw there was stuff that she chose and was comfortable doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you chose for the character what you wanted.
Yeah.
But it was really weird. I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable watching this.
I felt a little uncomfortable because I'm like, she's a kid. But she's not, obviously, I guess.
The actress is 22.
She's 22?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Wait, you said she started when she was 11.
Yeah, they've been working on this for 11 years total.
Oh my god, that's like half her life.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's given interviews. Her and Bran, the actor who plays Bran, have talked that they've grown up on this set making this show.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's
and Sansa too.
Yeah, of course.
She's they all all the
Sophie. Fuck, what was her
Turner.
Turner. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, they all the Stark kids grew up on this show,
right?
Except Rickon.
Fucking Rickon.
Wherever the hell he is.
I swear to God, in the book, George R. R. Martin, if he doesn't make that kid zag just as a fucking shot,
yeah,
at D&D, like, come on.
But either way, like, they've grown up on it, so yeah, that was weird, and
it was so weird.
But it works for the character, really.
No, I mean,
like, it's finally like, we're gonna die tomorrow. It's a good chance we're dying. You know what? I want to knock boots before I die, please.
Well, it was such a great contrast to Tormund and Brienne, where like Tormund's trying to do the same thing, and Brienne's like, I'd rather get knighted. Yeah. But yeah, I remember I texted you. You texted me and said, I'm ready to record whenever you're done. I said, okay. I paused it and I said, okay, I'm Gendry and Arya are making out right now. You're like, we'll talk about that. And then like 2 minutes later, I texted you and said, did I just see Arya's tits? Is that what I just saw there?
Kind of. Not a lot, really. That's the thing. No. It was actually filmed pretty well. I was impressed how they did that. And God, they're all gonna die. I'm gonna be so sad. I'm just waiting for the twist ending where they all just die and like only one person makes it out.
Or this is all like a dream at the end.
Something. I'm like, God, what's the big giant twist? I mean, we've had the Red Wedding already. Like, I know that was the book setting it up, but I don't care. We have expectations of people don't make it out alive in these things. A lot of people die.
Yeah, I feel like the twist is going to be that the Iron Throne is destroyed. There is no Iron Throne. I feel like that's the twist. Like, they're fighting for this thing that at the end doesn't even exist.
Yeah. I do too. I think something like that's going to happen, but God, I'm going to be crushed as each one of these characters dies.
Me too.
Theon's going to die, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It does make sense, but I'm going to be really sad to see him die.
Yeah, me too.
He's done so much. He's done so much wrong, but done so much right.
It's the same thing with Jaime in the books. Both of those, their arcs are just like, and Theon for just getting so fucking tortured, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's paid for his shit, and he's like, I did this, I know it, but I'm here to fight.
I own that I did this, it was wrong, and I'm going to make amends for it. I'm going to do whatever I can to make amends for it, and he will. And Jaime, God.
I like what he said. He's like, I would do it again. I was fighting for my family, but I'm here now, because we need to fight.
Yeah, I see the bigger picture now. I have learned that caring only about my family doesn't actually work in the end.
I feel like in that moment, how did Dany not just kill him? You know, he killed her brother.
It's true. I mean, I don't think she would kill him right out in front there. I honestly think if Jon had said kill him, she would have.
Yeah.
That's what she turned to, and she was kind of pissed that that she was the only one saying kill him.
Yeah, right.
Well, Sansa probably would have as well, but no, since Brienne stood up and was like, no, I would trust my life with him. So,
right.
I think it worked out. And then, well, it doesn't sound like Bran's going to tell anybody anytime soon. So,
no.
God, so good.
Such a good episode. I want to watch it again. Like, this is like, you know, when you like, I don't know, you're like visiting with friends again before you know, like, it's like the end of whatever experience you're having. Like in Peace Corps, for example, we had closed the service, so we saw all of our friends, and we knew we were leaving in a month, and we wouldn't see them ever again in this capacity, or maybe ever again, some of them. Yeah,
I was looking at the directors of episodes this season.
This was Nutter for the first two, right?
Nutter for the first two, and then Miguel Sapochnik. He did the Battle of the Bastards.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who's filmed a lot of the big battles. So he directed episodes 3 and 5.
Oh, so 2 battles, basically.
I'm pretty sure those are the 2 big battle ones, and I'm curious which episodes are the ones that last almost an hour and a half.
Well, I think next week's is. I looked at the runtime. I'm pretty sure next week's is an hour and 20.
Okay, and then, so, yeah. It's going to be insane.
I think it's called Battle of Winterfell next week, and it's just, that's it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh so yeah, we're gonna tear our hearts out.
There's so directors this season are David Nutter for 3 of them, episodes 1, 2, and 4. Miguel Sapochnik for episodes 3 and 5, and Benioff and Weiss for the final episode.
Final one.
Yep.
Man, this this episode, I was really worried after the first episode. Like, are we going to get the same kind of middling stuff we got from season 7?
Nope.
This episode was murder. It was just amazing. Like, I want to go rewatch it right now. Like, I won't, because I gotta go to sleep. But it was that good.
It was really good. I am ready. I can't believe we're going to see the end of this show.
I can't believe it either. I really can't.
Oh God, all the dates here.
Holding out hope. End of the season. George R. R. Martin's like, okay, book's coming out this year. I keep getting my heart broken.
I don't know. I was actually late. They're not even taking a week off anywhere.
No, it's just straight.
It's just May 19th is the last episode. Holy crap. God, I read this. What year did I read this? The first 3 books. When did you guys introduce to me? 2000. 2000. You came up.
Yep.
You came up to UPS during that time.
That's right. It was 2000. It was crazy because I recommended to you and Travis and a couple other people, and I read the first book and did not read the second book for years.
And I read the first 3 in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Just like, oh God. So I'm just like, I don't even care what's the ending of the books. I'm going to get into the story 19 years later.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh God, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
It's going to be.
But I'm not ready for all these characters to die.
No, but that's where we're headed. Like, that's to get ready to end this amazing journey. Like, that has to happen. And for that to happen, like, is going to make it even, it's going to be bittersweet, but it's going to be sweet. Like, if they didn't die, it would be like, eh.
Yeah, I don't want them. I don't think I'm ready.
I'm not either.
This episode made me realize how I'm not ready.
I'm not ready for Tyrion to die. I'm not ready for Jaime to die. I'm not ready for Brienne to die. And like, Jaime and Tyrion, like, some of my favorite characters, they were the bad guys at the beginning. Not Tyrion so much, but it's crazy. Just such a sweet fucking story. So good.
Yeah.
So that was Game of Thrones spoiler cast.
Yes, it was.
Back for episode 3. But man, this has been episode 188. Again, we gave away a code for Table of Tales, and we gave it to that gearhead. So we will hit you up on Twitter, but congratulations. Thanks for subscribing. Keep it locked here. If you like us, please tell a friend. Also, review us on your podcast service of choice. And then we're also on Patreon. Just search Prof and Dev Play Games. And we will be back next week for episode 189, where we will discuss... I don't know what big news is going to come out this next week.
You never know, and there's always something, though.
Yeah, that's true. Big stuff. Right. Oh, and we didn't even talk about Notre Dame and
I know.
Unity. We'll have to get back to that. So.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
So much stuff this week. Yeah. So we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening, folks.
All right. Later, all.